Welcome, Baltimore. Tonight we're joined by Glorian, the visionary project of musician Joseph Mulholland. Blending electronic beats with acoustic guitar and neo-folk elements, Glorian's sound is a genre-defining experience, one that moves seamlessly from operatic dance anthems to intimate experimental melodies. With a brand new album, Dance Songs for Strangers, Glorian continues to push creative boundaries, crafting music that is both deeply personal and universally resonant. And after the conversation, get ready for a live performance that captures the heart of Glorian sound. So please welcome Glorian. Welcome. Welcome, Baltimore, to another episode of Sanity Lounge. We were graced with the presence of Glorian.
A local artist, Glorian. It was an awesome performance.
Yeah,
the studio was bumping.
A musician that's come onto my radar since we started this. I saw you, I think it was last June at the Compound.
Mm-hmm.
That was that was like a Baltimore Beat event? Or
It was a Baltimore Beat fundraiser.
Yep. Outcalls played.
They sure did.
It was cool. So we talked back then. Micah was there, and now it's full circle, and now you are here.
Here I am.
And I just love your music.
Yeah, man, welcome.
Thank you.
I had a request for Catatonic, and
You did. I delivered.
We're gonna hear it. It was awesome, and yes, you delivered is a good way to put that.
So lead off question, Glorian, is that your real name, or what's the story with Glorian? If you'll tell it.
I'm not telling. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, that'd be wild.
No.
Yeah, that would be. I didn't even occur to me. You know.
Yeah.
So no, my the name Glorian it's a name that's just been kind of like bouncing around in my brain for a while.
Interesting.
I always knew I wanted to do, because I've been in bands and stuff, and I knew I wanted to do a solo project, but I just never had the time to get anything off the ground. But then the pandemic happened, and the band that I was in dismantled, and I figured that was a good time to...
Is that Joseph and the Beasts?
Yeah, yep, my old band, Joseph and the Beasts.
Yeah, I was reading about that band, but I can't... Full disclosure, I have not listened to them.
You should. It's a good band.
Yeah.
We were a really, really good band.
So was that in Baltimore? You're from New York, right?
I'm from Western New York,
Yep.
but I've lived in Baltimore for like 15 years.
So that was a Baltimore band?
Yep. So we were together for 8 years. We toured a lot. We released a EP and a record, and we actually have an EP that we recorded that we never released because we ended up breaking up before we had a chance to release it. But maybe someday.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic.
The pandemic, and our lives kind of were all going in different directions. So,
Gotcha.
But we're all still friends, and I think someday maybe it'll happen.
Yep.
But so anyway, during the pandemic, I decided to call whatever my solo project was. I didn't even know what it was going to turn into. I just decided to call it Glorian because Gloria is my favorite name, and I wanted to add an N to it to make it a little more like androgynous or whatever. And I performed under that name for like a year, and then a really good friend of mine from college texted me out of the blue and said, "Do you know that Glorian is an obscure Marvel character?"
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. Yeah,
and I was like,
so.
"What?" And
Nice.
he sent me pictures of the character,
like
and
a hero, villain?
He was a hero. He was an apprentice dream shaper, and he's from Rochester, New York, which is crazy
right.
because
Dude, that's
serendipity.
awesome.
I grew up very close to Rochester,
Right.
New York, and we
Yes.
had. At the time, we had like the same haircut.
Right.
That's so funny. You're like, it's meant to be.
Yeah, I was like,
Period.
who is?
Right.
I have at home the Marvel Encyclopedia. The first thing I do when I'm going.
That's so
go
funny.
home
You
is
should
I'm
look
going
it
to
up.
look it up because it's definitely in there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
cool though, but it made you be like, this is meant to be. I gotta fucking take this name, right? Like,
Yeah, well, I had already been using
Nice,
it,
nice.
thinking it was just a name I made up, and then my friend David texted me and said, "Look at this. You've been like catfishing people.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
As a Marvel character.
Right. That's good stuff. Well, let me ask you this, and you don't have to answer, I guess, if you don't want to, but it would be cool if you did. How old are you?
I'm gonna be 45 in March.
Son of a bitch.
Nobody. I think the oldest guest we had upstairs was 34.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because
Really?
I got to tell you, it's a tough call.
I said 33.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 30. The one lady, Elizabeth, 34 to 36. I kind of was like that, but yeah, man, you look great, man.
Thanks.
Yeah,
We're way off.
48.
Yeah, I'm 40. I'll be 50 in September.
Will is old as shit. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Look, he's about to chime in. I'm only kidding, Chris.
Yeah, I heard the cut, but I didn't hear any voice.
We're all friends here.
How would you describe what genre would you consider yourself? How would you describe your music?
Oh, wow.
Great question.
It's kind of all over the place. So I'm getting ready to release my first full-length record. It's called Dance Songs for Strangers.
That's a great name.
Yeah, not all of the songs are dance songs, but I mean, I guess you could slow dance to a couple of them.
Yeah.
But I really went into this project not wanting to stick to a particular genre or style, and so the album kind of jumps all over the place. There's a couple more like neo-folky acoustic songs, and then there's songs that are like straight up dance songs. There's some more experimental electronica kind of songs, and I wanted each song to kind of stand on its own. But I think that the songs also kind of fit together on the record as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, like Garbage is like a ballad.
Yeah.
And then Catatonic is, I mean, that's like a get up and move.
Yeah.
Right, and you sound checked with just a straight acoustic song.
Yeah.
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 So, okay, so wait on. What was my question? Your age, you asked.
What did I ask? Oh, the genre. What genre of music?
So let me ask you this.
This happens. Don't worry about it.
That's okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
into
it.
this.
Brian's memory sucks.
Yeah, don't worry about a thing, baby. We'll get through it. But so, were you a singer, a keyboard player? Like, what were you first? What drew you to music? First question.
Oh, that's a great question. I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere in Western New York, and I was just like a weird kid. I didn't really have any friends.
And you were on it like you were a farm kid.
Yeah,
like you were farming.
Oh yeah, like get up in the morning, shovel.
And it's cold as shit.
Yeah, get up in the morning, shovel shit, feed the cows, and I spent every summer baling hay.
Right.
Wow.
Like we never went on family vacation. We went on one family vacation when I was like 5. We went to the Adirondacks.
That's not that far thoh.
It's not, no.
But
no.
it's probably nice, right?
No,
Yeah.
that's where Plattsburgh. Yeah, we went through the Adirondacks.
So honestly, it was like I hadn't really, found my thing. And when I was about like 11 or 12, my brother got me a keyboard, like just a little Casio keyboard for Christmas.
Right.
And I taught myself music theory, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. I taught myself how to play chords. I called them pretty chords and sad chords, and they were major and minor chords. But I didn't know at the time. I just kind of like figured it out by ear. And
no history in the family of musical prodigies or anything
No,
like that?
nobody in my family is really musically inclined. My dad is a pretty kick-ass whistler, though. He whistles like Andrew Bird.
There's something to that.
That's musical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something to that.
But I don't think he realizes how
good he
how
is.
talented he is. He just does it when and I'm just like, wow. But anyway, and then I started recording little songs on so I had 2 tape recorders.
Mm-hmm.
That's the old school way.
And I
know that.
I would tape drum beat and like the bass line on, and then I would play that back with another tape recorder and like play another part, and I would just keep going back and forth and back and forth and just produce songs that way. at like 12, 13 years old.
Nice.
And I was learning how to sing, and I was learning how to write songs. And I mean, they weren't good, but they were like, I was kind of,
You were figuring it out.
I was building it. I was building the blocks of, my musical
repertoire.
Yeah. And then when I was like 14, I won a speech contest, and I got like $100, and I went to the local music shop and bought just a shitty little $100 Hohner acoustic guitar and a guitar chord poster. And I just like
that's funny. I remember that.
Yeah, and I just had it hanging above my bed, and I just figured it out slowly, and then started writing songs on a guitar. And
were your parents supportive of this kind of stuff, or were they kind of like, look, we got a farm like Luke in Star Wars or some shit? I mean,
I think they were skeptical.
Right.
And was this over the course of like days, months, or years?
This was over years. Like I said, I started tinkering with the keyboard around like 11, 12. And then at 14, I got a guitar. And then by the time I was 15 or 16,
it clicked.
My brother actually, because my brother's 10 years older than me, and he's really into music, but he's not a musician himself. So he was really supportive.
Nice.
And he actually bought me my first 4-track recorder. He bought me a Tascam Porta Studio, and that was it. I just started like, I was just kind of ravenous, just like writing and recording and learning how to just produce DIY by myself. And I started just like grabbing things from around the house and sampling them, or like I had a Rubbermaid trash can that I turned upside down and put a microphone in, and that was a bass drum. And then my friend Kathy gave me her grandfather's old snare drum, so I was just I just like started playing drum beats on a rubber trash can and a snare drum, and then I ended up going to college and studying audio production, and I studied voice too. I sang some opera, and
is that right?
Yeah,
you have a hell of a voice.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
Yeah,
I wasn't
unique, a very unique voice.
Is.
I mean, it's beautiful. When, it's all
well,
you can do a lot of different things with it. It's good stuff.
Thank you. I was a terrible opera singer, but I learned some techniques that I think that I think have become second nature to me now. Like being able to cross over from like my chest or head voice into falsetto and back like pretty effortlessly, like pretty easily. Like that's something I've learned how to do through my training, and breath control and things like that.
Yeah, that's stuff you take for granted, and once you learn it, you're like, holy shit, this really makes a difference.
Yeah, but everything else, pushed off a cliff.
Right. No, speaking of the opera, I read that you do like composing and things for the Baltimore Rock Opera.
I did. So I did. I wrote like half. I don't remember how many songs. I think it was like 7 or 8. I don't remember. 7 or 8 songs for Baltimore Rock Opera Society's play called Glitterous. That it premiered in the summer of, I think it was 2021. And it was supposed to premiere in spring of 2020, but
right.
But yeah, I wrote like 7 or 8 songs, and fully produced demos, like drums, bass, guitars, keyboards, all the vocal parts. I wrote all the lyrics. I originally was going to write dummy lyrics, but then I ended up reading the script, and I actually wrote like lyrics that fit with the script.
So how did that come about? Did they come to you, or did you find like the opportunity? Just discovered it or read it?
My friend Jay Wexelbaum was involved in Bros, and I've known Jay forever. We both lived in Buffalo at the same time. I've known him for like over 20 years, probably 25 years at this point.
Cool.
And he moved to Baltimore a couple years after I did, and he got involved with Bros, and he became the music director of this play. and asked me if I wanted to be on the songwriting team. And then the next thing I knew, there wasn't a songwriting team, and it was just me.
Nice. Is there? Is there? Can you listen to that? Is it on YouTube, or is there audio of that?
I don't know.
If there's
or
evidence,
was it just like a on stage performance
like
that you
one
can't,
time
like
thing.
maybe phone recordings or something? Maybe.
I'm not sure. I mean, I have recordings of all of the demos.
Okay.
But I don't know if there is a cast recording that exists.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a video.
Right.
I'm sure that the Baltimore Rock Opera Society has a video.
Mm-hmm.
To be perfectly honest, I was pretty hands off once I wrote and recorded the demos.
Right.
I thought I was going to be a little bit more involved in the process
Okay.
of everything, but that didn't end up happening for whatever reason.
Right.
But I'm really happy with how everything turned out, and I got to go see it, and
Right.
that was a pretty
that's got to be cool.
that was a pretty strange experience to go and watch this play, this
And
rock opera.
no one knows that it's you. You did it.
Right, that's got to be awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was
that's
pretty
nice.
cool. Yeah.
I had a similar experience to that with the Poe when they
Yes.
had them laid out. I was just wandering around, kind of watching people look at these bodies I created about Alan Poe and Virginia Poe, but nobody knew that I made them. So I just watched people's reactions, and it was cool.
Well, so back to Western upstate New York, you're rocking keyboards, you're learning guitars, you're producing songs, your parents are semi-supportive, they're kind of skeptical. And what age are we at this point in Glorianville?
Well, at that time I was going by Gizmo After Midnight.
Gizmo
that was my
After Midnight.
that was my moniker.
That was your
a
handle?
minute.
yeah.
Gizmo After...
I've
So you're a
heard that
fucking gremlin. That's
recently.
what... I mean,
Guess-
Gizmo
I
After
guess.
Midnight's a
Why have I
fucking
heard that?
gremlin.
I've heard somebody said those words to me recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't me, babe.
That's interesting.
That is, I've been having weird dreams.
Yeah, that's
lately,
some
too.
Matrix shit right
Gizmo
there.
After Midnight.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you want to go into that, or what? Just cause that's a cool handle, or
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was really into Gremlins.
I got you. As
When
one
I was a
is.
kid.
Yeah.
So were you playing, touring, or gigging, or anything while you were living in New York before you came to Baltimore?
Oh yeah, so I played a bunch of. There was a coffee house in the next town over from where I grew up, and they used to do monthly open mics.
Nice.
So I would go there and do just the acoustic coffee house thing, and
But it helps you cut your teeth out in live performance.
yeah,
land or
yeah.
something like that.
And the first song I ever played in front of an audience was "The Curse" by Afghan Wigs. If you know that song, and there's a guest singer on that song, and she has the most haunting voice, and my friend Tanya actually sang lead, and I played guitar and sang backup, and that was the first. And then we also played a Cat Power song, and it was
Nice.
just very strange, but it went really well, and we were asked to come back, and then I started actually playing like full shows at this coffee shop, and then I went to college when I was 18, and
In New York, like just
Yep.
local.
yeah, I went to SUNY. I went to a state school. I went to SUNY Fredonia, which is right on Lake Erie, and it's about 45 minutes south of Buffalo.
Oh my god!
so I went
to
to-
get cold as shit.
Oh, it was so cold. There was
Oh
so
my
much
God.
snow. I was used to it though, because that's where I grew up.
Right.
Imagine their county workers.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brian's essential personnel here.
just-
So he hates the snow
I'm
because
sorry.
he's stuck working.
Oh,
it's
no.
not about me, Glorian. It's about you. But for God's sakes.
Well, I will say that when I moved here, I was quite shocked at the lack of infrastructure for snow removal and plows. But
Right.
then I realized that it's not, because I moved here in fall of 2009, and February of 2010 was when we had those two
The
massive.
heartbreaker. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, is this going to be every winter?
Yeah, that was unique.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and then
no, it's like Colorado. You like they don't even close schools out there.
Right.
Yeah, but in Buffalo,
Right.
if we would have gotten that kind of snowfall, it would have been like a couple hour delay in the
Right,
morning.
right.
But
Right. They got better equipment
yeah.
up there. They can
Yeah.
handle heavier shit. I
yeah,
mean,
there's like 3 plows per person in Buffalo.
Right.
But yeah, so I went to Fredonia, and studied, like I said, I studied audio production and did a little vocal performance, studied a little bit of vocal performance, and there was an open mic series there at college, and there was like a couple coffee shops in town, and I booked shows there, and I was just doing solo stuff. And at that point, I was just going by my name, by my government name,
which is
Joseph Mulholland.
Wow, Chris, I didn't even ask that. I don't know what the hell. It didn't even occur to me.
I knew it.
Oh. All right, so Joseph. All right, so go ahead.
And then I would go up to Buffalo a lot and just play open mics up there, and I started getting shows up there. And my senior year, I ended up dropping out of school because I got. I couldn't sing anymore. I kept getting really sick because I had chronic tonsillitis. And I was sick like every week. So I ended up dropping out and moving home, and I ended up getting a tonsillectomy, and it was a complicated surgery, and it took a long time for my throat to heal and for me to be able to, it took like 6 months for me to really be able to sing again. And my voice totally changed in that time, for the better, but it changed for the better. And then I moved to Buffalo because I needed to get away from the farm, and could, at the time Buffalo was like the cheapest city that you could probably live in.
Right.
And so I moved there and worked a bunch of odd jobs and played a bunch of solo stuff. I got connected with.
There's a good music scene up there, like.
There is. It's small, but there is.
I never hear anything about like the Buffalo music scene. I mean, it sounds weird, but
Buffalo? How far is that from Albany?
It's a ways. I think it's like 5 hours.
Just talk about Scott and the radio stations up there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I got hooked up with this drummer and this bass player who were in another band, and I kind of stole this woman's rhythm section.
Nice.
But the band was called Allah, and it was an all female punk band, and then the drummer and the bass player ended up starting a project with me, and we called it the Winter Sleepers, and we put out an EP and toured a bunch, and then we were getting ready to put out a record, and we were starting to get some attention and some buzz, and we got a cease and desist from a Canadian band called Winter Sleep.
Wow.
And we had to change our name, and we're all a bunch of music nerds, so we didn't know what any of this, like, we didn't know. So we changed the name to a name that we thought was really cool. Which is Needle Up.
Needle.
But it's a drug reference. It's like a heroin reference, and we had no idea.
That's funny. Well, I mean, that's risky.
But we still continue. I mean, like, we put out a record as Needle Up, and we toured a bunch, and
it's attention getting. I mean.
Yeah. And I was in another band called Weather Machine, and that was a really fun band. It was like me and this performer named Pam Swartz, who's.
Are you playing keys in these bands?
I like the name Weather Machine.
In the Winter Sleepers / Needle Up, it was just a strict.
I love that fucking name.
It was just a strict 3-piece punk band. So like drums, bass, I had an electric guitar,
right.
And then in Weather Machine, it was a lot of loopy. Experimental stuff, and I played keyboards and guitar, and they both were connected to loop stations.
Oh, wow.
And so I was doing a lot of looping, and there were 2 front people and then a drummer. And we went through like 5 drummers, because every drummer we had was like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing.
Right.
I can't keep a beat to this.
Right.
But it was cool. I mean, we were a fun band.
And what year is it? Like, can you give me a year? Because like looping and all that kind of shit, like what years are we talking?
So Winter Sleepers was 2004, 2005.
Okay.
And then Weather Machine was like 2005 to 2007, and that overlapped with Needle Up a little bit, and then Needle Up was we played until I moved here in 2009. I got you.
So, but it was those early years when everybody started.
So it was like the mid-aughts.
Out loopers.
Yeah. Loop stations were like the Boss loop station was such a
Right.
it was such a rite of passage in the music community at the time. It was like if you didn't have a loop station, you weren't doing music.
Right. Right.
But of course now it's like you don't really see people.
It's old hat
looping
or something.
anymore.
Well, it's like I think it's just different. It's all digitally. You can loop, or actually, that's
Billie
not,
Eilish does it.
No, you know that 21
Pilots.
Yeah. That's two dudes. And they're just using mad like
That's true.
and Mahali from Twiddle. He does a one-man show, and so it's out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's just evolved from just like it's like
Yeah.
So okay, so you're in so what brought you to Baltimore?
I moved here for grad school. So when I dropped out of college in like 2001, 2002.
Hold up, point of parliamentary procedure, Your Honor. You dropped out of high school.
No, college.
Okay.
In
So I'm like, did
2001.
you get a GED? And
No.
okay, I got it.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm a
The high school dropout
I'm
to
a high
grad
s-
school. You're
Gotcha.
wondering
So
that
it
path.
was college that you had dropped out of because
Yeah.
of your tonsillitis.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
then I went back to school in 2007 to just like finish up my degree.
Sure.
But I went back for medical anthropology, which is like pretty cool. But
Well, yeah, let's hover
Sounds
on that.
cool.
What did you just like? Had you had interest in that, or is that just
kind
something
of, yeah.
And explain what that field would look like to the layman.
Yeah.
Medical anthropology, like
It's not really a field. I mean, I guess it
it was
is.
a study.
Are you
People
wondering
do it.
what
I
the
mean-
difference between medical anthropology and just anthropology is?
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
what- right.
medical anthropology is the study of how the human body and disease were viewed in different cultures throughout history. So,
That sounds interesting.
That sounds
Yeah,
so. That's
fascinating.
like other like countries and shit.
yeah. So
right?
studying different cultures and like different kinds of like tribes and things like
Wow,
that
yeah,
from
that's
antiquity and
Look, I'm. It's not about me.
He's the
Glorian.
first person. He's the first person besides you or me to use that word.
The
on
word
this show.
antiquity. Wait, we
Uh-oh.
might have you back for another episode to discuss what you know about antiquity.
Oh, boy.
And, drums. And
Brian knows a
psychedelics.
lot.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's kind of brought me into that rabbit hole a little
And
bit.
so
but-
I don't know, but again, so continue.
Yeah.
Sorry about
sure.
that.
But yeah, I mean,
So that is an explanation of that's
Yeah.
fascinating
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah.
you go back to college. That's your major.
yeah, and I graduated in spring of 2009, and I had been looking at because I wanted to go to grad. I went from like not thinking I was gonna get my bachelor's to all of a sudden thinking I think I'm gonna quit music and get my master's degree.
Nice. Right. You're like, I'm going to pursue this.
But I was like, what do I want to do? Like, where do I go from medical anthropology? And, you know, the through line in a lot of my studies was herbal medicine. So like a lot of cultures used herbs to, you know, to cure people of various ailments or you know, like support their, like support their body's natural functions. And so I found it was the only accredited master's program for herbal medicine, and it's in Laurel. And it was at the time it was called Thai Sophia, and it was an herbal medicine and acupuncture school. And they have since rebranded themselves, and now they're called the Maryland University of Integrative Health, or MUI.
This is fascinating. So you have a master's degree in
herbal medicine.
That's You're going to have another episode of Sanity Lounge, just so you know.
Danny, you've been looking for this
I know.
all your
it's
life.
like- I know.
Yeah, I don't really use it.
It's we just got to talk about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
history and stuff.
but it was a cool program. The
Yeah,
program
like-
doesn't exist anymore. Well, at least it doesn't exist in the way that it did when I went. Like now, I think it's mostly an online program. But
Right.
when I was studying, we went and lived in the woods for a week, and
Wow.
it was crazy. It was really crazy. We had herbal prep classes where we learned how to make tinctures, grind herbs, do herbal do tea blends. We learned how to make.
Any psychedelics? No psychedelics?
No,
like
unfortunately.
Right.
It's not in the classroom anyway.
Right.
That was like, extracurricular. Maybe.
Right. We'll get into that.
But yeah, and then I had a little practice for a little while after I graduated, and I also did some like curriculum development for a couple other herbal medicine schools that popped up around the country, and I did all that just remote, just like freelance stuff. But
all while you're in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Right.
So you could still act as a consultant of sorts.
I could, but it's been so long. I just have a regular 9-to-5 job now, and it pays me more than I ever could have imagined I would get paid as an herbalist. So, and it's just boring. I just do like office administrative stuff, but it's cool to like have that degree. I guess
that's incredible. Yeah, I had no clue. I thought you I don't know what the fuck, but I didn't think it was going to be medical anthropology.
The jackpot.
Right. And I
had a degree in herbal medicine.
Right. Antiquity is the key. So you're in Baltimore, you do the graduate thing. Your parents are happy as shit, no? Or what?
I think that my parents are just, I think as I've gotten older, my parents are just like, he is just going to do whatever he wants.
Because
do your parents still live in New York on this? Do they still have this farm?
Yeah, they still live on the farm. Yeah, they don't really have animals anymore, but my dad still like putters around and stuff, and they still grow food. Like they still have, they have 2 gardens, and they grow a bunch of produce. And
are they're still like doing the gardening and shit like that? Man, God bless them. I mean, that's hard work, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
my parents are pretty spry.
Yeah, well, especially if you've done it your whole life,
it's hard
probably
like all the vegetable gardens I've had they just weren't very good.
Well, Ware Davis, you have
my mother's a good gardener.
Oh yeah, Joanne. My wife is, a really good gardener. She's very meticulous and cares and stuff like that. It's good stuff. Okay, so now we're in Baltimore. You graduated, and what was the band that you had said?
Joseph and the Beasts.
Joseph and the Beasts.
Yeah. Was that the hit? Like, what's your history to how you got to where you are now, like band-wise?
Sure. I when I moved to Baltimore, I just kind of decided I wasn't going to do music anymore. I
lost the fire, or
I think that living in a smaller city like Buffalo with a smaller music scene, I think that I just kind of felt like I was like a hamster in a wheel. Right. Like I wasn't really like, I was putting out music and performing, but like I was just like performing to the same people.
Sure.
And like I just kind of I performing the same bars and clubs, and so when I moved, I was like, I'm gonna like maybe retire for a bit. Maybe I'll come back to making music, and maybe I won't. I don't know. So for the first 2 years that I was in grad school, I didn't really play music at all. And then I picked up my guitar one day, and I just started writing out of nowhere, and ended up writing a whole record that I ended up releasing as under my regular name. It's the album's called Problematical Animals, and it's just like a very DIY homemade record. But I started booking shows around town in like 2011, I think, and so people started hearing my music. And at the time, I worked at Golden West Cafe in Hamden, and which they used to do shows there. I mean, like Jonathan Richman used to play there, and there's like the Y-Oak used to cut their teeth on the stage at Golden West. So
I've emailed Jen Wassner.
Yeah. And yeah, I used to work with her. I worked with her. I worked with JB Hunter.
I like her. I like Y-Oak and Flock of Dimes. Like all her projects are fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, but when I started working at Golden West, I used to wait tables with her and didn't even know that.
That's awesome.
I didn't even know that's
cool,
who she was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started playing shows, and that one of my first shows was at Golden West, and a lot of people I worked with and a lot of people in the scene heard me, and I started getting, I had some friends that were like, we really like these songs and we want to help you play them. We want to, we can tell that there's more going on in the songs than what you're playing with just a guitar. So
right.
So that's how Joseph and the Beasts was born. And at first we performed as Joseph and the Problematical Animals, and that was just a lot. That was just a mouthful. So we shortened it to Joseph and the Beasts, and then we decided that we were a band, and we put out.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we put out a couple records. We toured a lot. We had some really fun. We had some really fun tours. We had some really great shows. We put out videos. We we did a lot. And then the pandemic hit, and I think we all just kind of decided to go to our corners. And
fucking pandemic.
Yeah, one of my bandmates moved to DC. Another one had a kid. Another one moved to Frederick, and it was just kind of
Do
like.
they still play instruments?
Yeah.
Are they in bands or playing out or anything?
So Greg, my old drummer, is now the drummer in Nub.
No.
They're a pretty cool band.
Nub.
Yeah. And then my other two bandmates, I don't think that they're in bands right now, but I know, there's both still music lovers. I know that for sure. So
I bring it up. I only bring it up because one of the things we can do is get Joseph and the Beats in here for the reunion, man.
Oh my God.
Shit! The reunion
you
episode.
can come back and play with your band if you want.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Reach out. Say,
we haven't played.
Let's get the band back together.
We haven't played together in over 5 years. So, well, actually, only over 6. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, Chris Schaefer downtown. He has his last final variety show at his tailor shop. His band To the Moon played. They hadn't played together in like 14 years.
They were awesome.
They're instrumental, and they blew our faces
Yeah, dude,
off.
it was like The Cure. Like, it was like the music was like The Cure, but like a little bit jammier without vocals.
Yeah.
And we were like, I was like, holy shit, this is
But yeah,
great. Like, it was awesome.
they're gonna come in here in the next a few months from now. They're gonna come in because they're like, you guys, everybody liked it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why you broke up.
Yeah, it was just a real cool vibe.
So yeah, the invitation is open. Joseph and the Beasts can do the Sanity Lounge reunion.
We'll see.
Yeah.
TBD.
So did you go crazy? Like, the pandemic is when you kind of really honed your one-man show vibe? Is that what?
Yeah. Well, I had been trying to figure out how to make the kind of music that I wanted to make by myself.
Right.
And I really struggled with how that was going to look live. I didn't want to stress myself out by doing a lot of like looping or live sampling or anything like that. I really just I was like, look, I'm going to do drums and bass as backing tracks, and then any keyboard, like, 'cause I have a couple vintage keyboards. I have a couple Ensonics that are super finicky and really heavy.
Right.
The sound banks actually look like little Nintendo cartridges.
Oh, shit.
And like Nintendo, if you put a Nintendo cartridge in, and you remember, like, if it had fuzz or whatever on it, the color would be weird, or like the frame would be a little bit off.
Right.
Well, it does, like, Ensonic sound banks do that too, but
That's
it's just
funny.
it makes the sound it just fucks with the sound, and it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity when that happens. Like, if you find a sound that you like when it's acting finicky, you kind of have to like strike while the iron's hot, because you're never going to be able to recreate that sound again.
Yeah, right.
So a lot of the backing tracked keyboard parts and synth parts that you hear are from my Ensonic when it's
Misfiring.
spazzing out.
Right. That's cool. That's
really
deep.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
deep trivia.
Yeah,
That's good
and
shit.
then I was like, I want to have a keyboard like on either hand, and then like a little chaos oscillator to like fuck around with,
Right.
yeah, and then just like bring my guitar in when I want, and so far it's been working for me, and people seem to really be into what I'm doing. So I'm glad I found something. I'm glad I found a setup that works because I really racked my brain for years trying to figure out what to do because I'm also not a very tech savvy person, but thankfully I know a lot of people who my friend Sarah Michaels, she's a huge like tech nerd, and I told her what I wanted, and she's like, I know exactly.
See, it's great to know somebody like that because
she was like, I know exactly what you need.
Right.
You need this, like, you need this sampler. We're gonna swap it out for a 1 terabyte card, like memory card. You like need these connections. You need that, like. And I was like, all right, girl, help me out.
Yeah, that's good shit.
I'm not technical with this stuff, man.
Right.
Not at all.
So, Glorian,
that's why we
drugs,
hover around.
psychedelics.
We're going there already.
Yeah, well, I'm just curious.
We dabble.
I like to inquire about the history. We like to go into
In the back of his mind
philosophical
and-
stuff.
Sure,
if
sure. Let's
possible.
do it.
But,
Let's do it.
So I'm just curious, like, what do you have a history with psychedelics or not?
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
I've done mushrooms a couple times.
Like when you were young and wild, when you were older and wise, both?
Kind of both, but I've never had like a really significant effect
Mind.
from it.
Is that right?
And the only thing that I've really noticed is that my vision gets really clear,
Yeah, oh yeah.
like
yeah.
really, really
Wow.
crystal clear. And
That's one of the. That's a side effect I get. I'm
Yeah.
always looking at if I'm looking at my. I text.
He's
I told
told
you,
me
I'm
that.
like, dude, I could. My vision has gotten better, and I
Yeah.
can't see shit.
Right.
I mean, I consume cannabis.
Right,
of course.
sure.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't these days?
Right.
I'm California sober.
Yeah, well, no, that's all good, and I always am just curious because we have an interesting history with it, and it's coming back around as a bit of a renaissance, and we're responsible proponents of it. But again, I just like to ask people their history, and you seem like there might be some history there. So
Yeah,
I bring it
yeah.
up, but it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Let me think here.
So, Elusive Films. I read this today.
Yeah.
So you're writing. You're collaborating on some theme music for a TV pilot.
So I wrote the theme song for a TV pilot for, again, my friend Jay Wexelbaum, the one who got me into.
You've known forever.
the one who got me connected with Bros. He started a film company called Elusive Films, and they are working on a TV pilot for a show called A Nazi on Wall Street.
Nice. I love the sound of that.
And he studied, he's a history,
Buff.
yeah. Well, and he's also like an academic. So,
Gotcha.
he has his doctorate in history. I'm not entirely sure what the title is. Anything past a master's degree, I don't know.
Right. Doctorate or PhD.
I think maybe it's PhD,
Yeah.
but he specifically studied like the Holocaust in Nazi
Right.
Germany and stuff like that, and so he uncovered this story of Nazis kind of infiltrating Wall Street, and decided to write a screenplay about it. And so
That's exciting.
Yeah,
'Cause
so-
that's
so
a
is
great.
this
that sounds
being
good.
like self-produced,
it
self-made?
is yeah, I think that they've been shopping it around to a couple different networks, but
And is it being shot in Baltimore?
I'm not
or
sure.
around, just around.
I'm not sure if it's actively being shot right now. I think they're still trying to like
Sell it.
get some funds together for it, but
Right.
but I know that they have like a good sizzle reel and all that stuff.
And it probably would take place on Wall Street or in New
I think
York
I think it
or
would take
something
place
like
in
that.
New York.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess that's the
But
budget.
although
Whatever,
you
that
could
depends
shoot-
on the budget.
yeah, you could shoot Baltimore as New York, I guess.
Sure,
but I don't
yeah.
know. You know, I mean,
But so I wrote just a little jingle, I guess, for the opening credits called "You Better Start Digging."
nice. Well, that's
and-
exciting.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind
gonna
of
be
like
cool.
it's kind of like a spooky like alt country song.
Nice.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds meets like Black Heart's Procession.
Right.
Did they give you notes, or were they like, "Look, just do your thing and bring us something"? You know?
The note was we wanted to kind of sound a little bit like the Wire
nice
theme song,
That's
but it didn't really end up sounding like the Wire theme
Right.
song. But I like it. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. I really like writing music and doing projects, or writing music for projects outside of Glorian, because I like experimenting and doing different things.
Right.
And I mean, I do it with my own music, but you know, like with the Bros production, I wrote like hair metal songs,
Right.
which is not something that I thought would be in my wheelhouse. And then I turned around and wrote this like twangy, you know, kind of like moody country song. And then
No, it's cool if you have creative control over that.
Yeah.
You just do what you want.
Yeah, like the outside projects help well round.
Makes things easier. It's
your
just a matter
palette.
of trust. Like,
Yeah.
look, this is what we're looking for. I believe you can do it.
yeah.
Make it happen.
Well, sometimes
Right.
I get bored doing my own shit,
Right.
and so when I get asked to do something outside of that, and I know that other people are depending on me, because I can get pretty lazy when it comes to my own
Where Davis
stuff.
knows nothing about that.
So, but yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
it just keeps I guess it keeps my music chops sharp.
Yeah, right.
To
Right.
do things for other people. So I really enjoy doing it, and every time I get asked to do something, I'm like, super duper excited. And I do. I mean, like I'm also in other bands right now. I mean, aside from Glorian, I also play keyboards, guitar, and sing backup for Micah E. Wood.
Yeah.
Did I know that? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
I think I've told you. I mean, Micah's band, he told me
Jenna's in his
2025.
band too.
Yeah.
Yeah, IS. Yeah,
So,
she's in his band. There's a lot.
He's coming in, so Glorian will be back.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
he'll be
But
the
it's not
multiplayer.
going to be till like July. He said his album's we've been just waiting for his album. He
Gotcha.
told me January back in June.
That's
Now
how
it's
it always
July.
goes.
Right,
Right,
yeah,
right.
so
That's how it always
the
goes.
band's coming in once the album's ready.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I also sing backup for Landis.
Oh, nice.
Landis Harry Larry. Yeah, I'm one of the backup singers. There's me, Melissa, Charlotte, and Lala Anderson. So we're the three backup singers.
Landis have a car? Like, can he get out here? We want to get him.
We've talked to him. He's interested in coming out.
He has. I mean, he
I think
lives.
he drives,
He lives right around the corner from me. I think. I'm not sure, but he lives right on. I mean, I can
Yeah,
always
I'll
give
pick
him a
him up.
ride.
Yeah,
Because we want to get him in here as well.
Yeah,
That's,
I think he's got a car. Yeah, he's got a car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he does.
yeah.
Yeah, we've met him a couple of. I mean, I've seen him, but we've talked to him a couple of times at Chris Schaefer's. He's come to these variety shows,
right,
Yeah.
right.
and I just haven't. It's
Yeah, the
I'm just an
Senators,
asshole.
baby. Yeah.
I had so many people to reach out to, and he's one of them.
Right.
I also periodically play keyboards for this band called the Selkies. They very, very frequently go into hibernation for long periods of time. They play maybe one or two shows a year.
Right.
But all the people that are in the band, they're all really good friends of mine. So
Right.
whenever they decide to come out of hibernation and play a couple shows, I always get pretty excited.
Nice.
So yeah, so I'm in other projects
I
besides
think there's
Glorian.
one more project that. Are you in a Stevie Nicks cover band?
Oh yeah, well, that's
Nice.
that was pre-pandemic.
Okay,
so
okay.
there is there's a collective called White Winged Dove, And I think a guy by the name of Corey Hennessy is in charge, or was in charge of that. And he did a couple different performances where he just got a bunch of people together, and it was just kind of like a revolving door of artists. And I couldn't. He asked me to do the first one, and I couldn't. I was going to be out of town, so I couldn't do it. But he came back and asked me to do the second one, and it was really fun. I met a lot of people doing that, but that was the last time I did that was like 2019. I hope he does another. Another show at some point.
Yeah, that's a cool concept. Winter Set does their thing that just happened this past Saturday. They do it at the Pie Shop in D.C. It's
cool.
David Bowie.
Oh, that's cool.
So but they're like it sells out, and it's tough to learn a David Bowie song and then a different one every year.
Yeah,
right.
But Glass Fault, his band did it. Winter Sec's are cool. They were like what they they were debating on what style they are, but it was like a post goth
Yeah,
punk.
I can't remember what they said, but it was
Right.
interesting episode.
They're a really cool band.
Yeah,
I think
they're
you'd
a cool
probably dig
band.
them.
They're a different kind of band.
Yeah.
But the episode, yeah, man, if you watch the show, like wait till you see and hear the audio.
I'll send you some
It's-
links.
Yeah.
Winter
good
Sect
shit.
is it's a 3-piece.
That's a cool band.
And
name, too.
and Claudia, the lead singer, she's the bass player. The bass is almost as big as she is.
Yeah.
But her voice is so fucking ethereal.
Yeah. It's like haunting,
Yeah.
ethereal stuff. But yeah, it's real good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
That's awesome.
I think you would dig it. So Landis, you got that. You're rocking all over the place, and you're doing your day job.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and I'm also I do a cover band with a group of friends every fall, and we play like a series of Halloween shows. Last year, 2 years ago, we did Depeche Mode,
Nice.
and this past fall we did New Order.
Oh, shit.
And we get like we get like 4 or 5 shows like around that like DC Baltimore area, and we practice like all summer. We learn like 6 or 7 songs, and just,
So, I mean, is what the concept
do a
like a
set.
musical costume, like because it's Halloween, or
yeah.
you
So
just- right.
we just kind of like dress to impress.
Nice, interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I do all that, and I have a 40-hour-a-week job that it's like I don't know if either of you have seen the TV show Severance.
Dude, I
I've
want
saw
to.
most of
Everybody
season
keeps
1. I gotta
telling
go back
me.
and revisit it.
I just don't
Season
have
two
Apple
just-
TV.
Season 2 just came out. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I know it's good. Everybody keeps telling me.
But I feel like I'm living in the real life version of that.
I think a
Seven.
lot of people do.
Because I have a
Right.
corporate job.
Ugh.
I go by a different name at work. So my
Right.
actual first name is Steven.
Okay.
Joseph is my middle name. I've always gone by that. My parents called me that from the time I was born. I don't even know why. I mean, my dad's first name is Steven, but I'm not even a junior. So
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. There was a lot of confusion. I'm sure, my mom had a C-section. There was probably a lot going on. I'm sure they weren't thinking clearly. They weren't thinking about the identity crisis that they were creating.
right.
So yeah, from the moment I was brought home from the hospital.
Let me ask you this,
I was sick.
and you don't have to answer this if you
Yeah.
don't want to, but are they okay with the identity crisis? Like,
I don't know.
did it seem like were they accepting of you as the way you turned out to be, or anything?
I think
like that?
so. Yeah, I
Good.
think that they're pretty okay with me.
Yeah, because that's
being the way I-
important. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like especially,
Yeah. Yeah. So like for whatever reason, when I got the job that I have now, I just forgot to tell them that I don't go by Steven. Because, on your resume, you put
right.
So when I showed up on my first day, like HR had gone and set up everything in the system to say Steven. And I was like, oh, God, I didn't tell them that I don't use that name.
Right.
And then I sat with it for a minute, and I was like, I'm going to roll with this. I'm going to...
Yeah, you're like Clark Kent.
Yeah.
It's
And it
like-
has really helped.
Right.
Yeah.
It really honestly, like it has created a separation. Like the second I walk out the door, I'm like, Steven is off the clock. Steven
Right.
is nowhere to be found.
Nice.
Actually.
And do they know
Probably
that you
helps-
rock it
yeah,
at night,
that's cool.
or is
Yeah,
it like,
yeah.
that's cool?
Yeah. I've been in a couple I've also been in a couple plays in the last couple of years, and like my boss has come to the plays.
Fun. That's good.
She's coming to the album release show. I'm
Nice.
yeah, it's gonna be real weird because there's like the venue. Aside from being a music space and a bar, it's also like they do art openings, and so there's always like art on the walls there. And the current show that's there, that's also going to be up while I'm doing my album release show, is like it's like queer erotic art. So it's going to be pretty interesting. My whole family's coming to town.
Right. So I'll be like, wow, Steven.
That's
It's going to be pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'm like looking forward to the
it'll be
I'm
good.
looking forward to the chaos.
Sure.
Yeah. So, well, actually, when this episode comes out, we'll have already been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So you're playing. That's March 8th. So this has already happened.
Yeah. So everything I'm talking about was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. But
we'll give you the updates.
Outcalls and Madison Bailey are playing at Auto
Love
Bar
Outcalls. Love
the
Madison.
same night. So we're gonna try and do all of it.
Yeah.
Because the venues are real close together.
Hollis said that they're not far apart.
No,
Hollis
so we're
was
gonna,
like, you ought to do both.
and he said you're not playing until like 10. You said.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Outcall show is probably going to start at like 8.
Right.
And there's only 2 acts playing,
Yep.
so
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
show
well-
starts at 8, but there's 3 acts before me, so
Right.
so I'll probably, and you know how shows go. It says you say it's starting at 8, and it ends up being like 8:15.
Yeah, right.
8:30.
Sure. It keeps getting pushed and pushed.
Yeah.
No,
So
that'll be a good time.
yeah, it'll be a good night. There's a lot going on that night. So
Are you, what's up?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm saying, are you...
Yeah. We can. No, that the theme music
Theme music was
was
the
a
last
good
one.
little. We can just circle back to it as a segue.
All right. Well, so we're movie. I'm a cinephile. Woe Davis is a cinephile. We have a long history of film together, so we like to bond and talk movies with our guests. What would be your top 3 films? If you could narrow it down.
oh wow.
Yeah. Now, again, it doesn't have to be.
We don't prep anybody.
Yeah,
for
like,
this
and
question.
we're not. It doesn't have to be pressure here. We like everybody to relax. Just if you had,
It could be comfort movies,
films,
movies
right.
you've seen the most, and then it can change. You could always call us later.
Yeah, right. It's like, next time through, if
Yeah.
we ask you the question, give me 3 others, babe.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
it's very
Oh,
relaxed.
wow. Okay.
It's just kind of get to know you.
Are you a film fan?
I am.
There we go.
Harold and Maude.
Wow, nice. The Criterion, I have it.
Terminator 2.
Oh, God
right.
damn! These are too bad.
and
Too solid choices.
Oh God.
Harold and Maude.
What's a good third movie?
Yeah, take your time, babe. Like,
I really like Being John Malkovich.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
what
that's
a great
It's a
film.
great movie.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Spike, Spike Jones directed that.
Such a weird
Yeah.
concept.
Oh my god!
Honorable mention. I also really love the movie Pecker.
What? Nice,
Oh, yeah.
John Waters.
John Waters.
Yeah.
Takes place in
100%.
Hamden, which is like where I lived when I first moved here. It was such a weird.
So, did you see the film before you
Yeah.
came here? Right,
Yeah.
that's fun. So
Yeah.
you were like, "Holy shit!"
Yep.
This is what,
Yeah.
That was your Edward Furlong.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
God, I was happy when they killed him in the newest Terminator.
Yeah, so wait, were you a Furlong head? Is that why you like Terminator 2 and Pecker, or was that just coincidence?
I think it was just coincidence.
Right.
I mean, listen, Edward Furlong. I mean, I think he and I are about the same age.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So like when Terminator 2, I watched Terminator 2 every day for an entire summer.
Oh, did you ever get down to Universal Studios and do the T2 ride?
No, I wish.
Oh,
I
Dude,
wish.
God.
It was another level because what they did was they took it, like Cameron directed this 14-minute sequel to Terminator 2, and it's a ride in Universal Studios.
Well, it's not
Florida.
necessarily a ride. It's you just sit, but watch a whole performance. But like the Terminators walk out into the audience,
And
it's
the entire room is
Yeah.
it's like a
Screens.
octagon of screens.
wow.
And so it's like 3D, and then like a bike will be riding at you 3D, and then a hole in the screen will open, and a motorcycle
that you
will
don't
come
see
through.
though. Like it just
Yeah, it's
appears. It just
I mean, it was fucking
appears.
spectacular.
Is it a real motorcycle?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a guy on a
Okay.
motorcycle who comes through the screen. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
And he looks just like Arnold.
And he looks like Arnold. And
the actors were
it was
good.
spectacular.
Wow,
Now, that
that's
being said,
cool.
you know,
It's
I don't
not
think it's there,
anymore.
right?
No,
They-
hell no, dude. None of the
what
stuff.
is it now?
God,
mean,
Back
what
to the
could-
Future's not there.
I'm trying to remember
you gotta
what they
think about that,
replaced the
too.
Terminator
See, Back
ride
to the
with.
Future's another
It's
good one.
like
It's
back
hard.
from when
It is hard.
It's hard to
man.
pick
It
three.
is
But
hard.
when we used to go there on a regular basis, Back to the Future, the time frame, but from when we were there to when Back to the Future was released, is shorter than to
I hate
now.
that kind of shit. Don't tell me that kind of shit. I hate that kind
I
of
mean,
shit.
yeah, I mean,
They don't have any of the damn rides.
the
that were there
newest
when we first
ride. The
started.
last time I was at Islands of Adventure, the newest ride was Spider-Man, I think.
It's been a minute, babe, because they had Transformers. They've
I
had
didn't-
Your Fast and
I didn't
Furious.
do that. Didn't do
Harry
Transformers.
Potter?
No, I still haven't been to Harry Potter land. Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I'm not actually.
Well, so let
not
me
a
tell you
fan,
something.
or just not it? Never
Have
read
you
them or
tried
watched
it?
the movies.
I watched the first two movies.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to keep going. Prisoner of Azkaban is where it kicks.
Here's what I'll tell you. I was with you in the sense of I just didn't get it. I don't
My
understand.
wife's still with you.
But my wife, I watched them at some point when we were going to Universal last time. She was like, "You have to watch them because." So I sat there with her and watched them.
That
and
didn't sound anything like her.
I might be exaggerating that accent, but as they go, it's high stakes. Like it's very. It's not like the first two were kind of like, but the third one, Azkaban on, it gets. I don't know. It was much better than I thought. That's what I'll say.
I
you know.
probably would have eventually stumbled upon the Harry Potter universe if J.K. Rowling wasn't such a.
She
She
We
needs
saw
Oh
them.
gosh, I didn't even think about it.
We saw them all. We saw them all before
Yeah.
before she was an ass.
Right,
Listen.
right. I didn't even think. Christ, I'm just talking.
Do you know the conspiracy theory about her?
No,
No.
please tell me.
Is that she's slowly going she's slowly going crazy because her mansion is like covered in mold. And that like her, and that
So
her,
it's like a Mad Hatter type
Yeah,
thing. Like
yeah.
because
Dude,
of the
that
mold,
makes-
it's making
I
her
mean, that
brain
makes
rot.
sense.
there's one there's like one Zoom video or Zoom interview that she did. I don't even remember when. It was recent, probably like within the last couple of years. But like you just see mold on the walls behind her, and it's like there's nothing else it could be because just the way it looks on the wall, it's like,
not painted mold.
dude. You gotta
That's crazy.
you gotta get your. So I think her transphobia is mold related.
That's a wild conspiracy
yeah, that
theory.
is a
I
wild
mean.
conspiracy.
And I will tell you, spores from mold goes back to the psychedelic realm that we
Yeah,
were
there we
talking
go.
about.
See, it goes
And
full circle.
Right,
Yeah, that is
everything comes
100%
back to
true.
psychedelics. Well, so what about other franchises? Do you dig Star Wars or anything like that? I mean,
I
are
do.
you-
I do like Star Wars. I really like. I love horror movies and like thrillers and stuff like that. So I love the Poltergeist
Yeah.
franchise.
Okay, so let's hover here. Okay,
Yeah.
Poltergeist 1, 1982, Poltergeist 1,
Yeah.
PG. I mean, that was a PG
Yeah.
movie. And let me tell you something. To this day, I go on record saying that, I mean, it's a little dated if you watch it today effects-wise, but it's one of the greatest ghost stories ever put on film.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Yeah,
like,
there's
period.
no doubt that terrified me when
And
I was
then
12 years old.
to go into part 2
With
with
Reverend
that
Cain.
fucking old
Reverend
man,
Cain.
Reverend Cain,
Yeah.
was
You're all gonna
terrifying.
Yeah.
Kenny.
You're all gonna die in there.
Oh my God, it was
Yeah.
terrifying.
And I mean, I don't think it gets enough love or respect, but I do low key think that 3 was pretty good. Like
That took place in the hotel.
Chicago
Yeah.
hotel.
It took-
Yeah, right.
yeah, it took place. I think she went to like live with relatives. Or
Right.
something.
It was Tom Skerritt
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Nancy
I've seen
Allen.
that. once.
But the apartment that they lived in, it was all mirrors.
Glass. Right. I remember it was all
It was
mirrors.
all the
Yeah,
walls
I
were
remember
mirrors,
that.
and
I've seen that once.
and like there's just something about it that is so creepy. Plus, like the
production.
the actor died in the middle of
right.
the little girl died in the middle of making that movie.
Yeah, there's
like,
many really
sepsis or
crazy
something.
stories about the production of that one in particular.
I
Like
remember
they
all
had an
that.
explosive problem they were doing, like in one of in the garage of the building. At one point, a car blew up or something, and like it blew up and there was no ventilation, and like the whole crew and everyone's down there getting
Isn't her death mysterious? Did she have a disease?
I think she I think she got like sepsis.
It was something shocking, but I don't think it was
like unexpected.
Yeah, it was unexpected, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And I think it might have even been it was sepsis, like internal. They didn't know something.
It happened fast,
right? All of a sudden, she wasn't well. They took her to the hospital, and they were like, "She's dead," like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was notorious in Hollywood for the like hex production, because she passed away.
Yeah.
The thing blew up, and there's more stories. I can't remember what they are.
Yeah.
Your problem with the third one, our problem with the third one, was Reverend Cain. The guy, Julian Beck, is the guy that played Reverend Cain in Poltergeist 2.
Yep.
And he was like 89 or something. I mean, he was old as shit in the Cotton Club, and that was in 1982.
Right.
So he died, and they had to bring in a prosthetic, Reverend Cain, but he was still scary.
I want to make a
especially in
bust
those
of
mirrors
Reverend
and
Cain.
shit like that.
Yeah.
What are you waiting on?
No, not laziness.
We'll scare the shit out of Kenny,
Like a real, silicone.
dude. And that'll sell.
Oh my god! I'll
hotcakes.
just drive over to his house and put it in his
He'll
bedroom
go,
window.
"You are gonna die." He'll go, "Stop, man."
Yeah.
So any other movies you want to honorable mention? Or?
Oh boy. I mean,
what about comedies? You haven't said a comedy.
I haven't.
And let me ask you this: so Poltergeist is a good one? Give me a couple more horror films in the way.
Oh, I mean, like
Glorian.
I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I mean, I remember watching. I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which was like notoriously
panned.
It was panned, but I think the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was gay, and he went like above and beyond with like the gay overtone or gay overtones.
Right.
Like all the guys, like there wasn't a single guy in that film that had a shirt that wasn't like
That's
a half
funny.
shirt, and like there was all this weird.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it when I was like 5 or 6,
Right.
and being like, "What is going? Why do I like this?
Right.
I don't know why I like this, but I like this."
That's so funny, because now you say that, you're right. It was because it was the two buddies, like they were friends in high school, and it was a lot of gym work and stuff
I
like
probably
that.
just thought it was just 80s.
Well, yeah, it didn't occur
that's
to
the
me,
thing.
but that's interesting.
That's the thing. Is it gay or is it 80s? I don't know. Could be either.
Well, now,
Sometimes it's both.
Right. It kind of feels like
That
it's
should
both.
be a T-shirt.
But that is interesting about like the development of people in general, because like, you watched that and you felt a little bit of like, hey,
Right.
you
I was
know,
like, am I
it
having
never
a
even
gay
occurred
awakening?
to me. But
Right.
now that you mention it, if I was of that ilk, it makes sense where
Yeah.
that one, that's why. What about Dream Warriors? The third
Dream Warriors.
I
is good.
love
That's
Dream
when it
Warriors,
just started
dude.
getting fucking wild.
Dude,
That's
but
a good one.
after Dream Warriors,
Yeah.
Dream Warriors was great. I
love Freddy vs. Jason. Like I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Wait, 5, the new Nightmare, that concept, I loved it when it came out. Like, remember it was,
Yeah,
it was like,
I have that sixth scale figure.
it was
from,
in the mid 90s. It was before everyone was retconning and doing the the like look at, like a movie in a movie thing. It was just an original concept, like,
Yeah.
I loved that
Yep.
one, man.
Yeah.
And what about the remake? Did you dig that?
I didn't see the remake.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. With it's The dude from Bad News Bears.
It's your boy.
God, I can't think of his name. I know his name. But,
Yeah, it's the 3 name. It's Haley or don't do it. Don't look it up. It's our boy. It's
Rorschach
from Watchmen. It's 3 names. It's not Haley Joel Osment. It's Billy Joe.
I'm never gonna think. It's never gonna pop into my head.
It is going to pop into my head.
When I find out
Kelly
what it is.
Leak, and his name is 3 names. Billy Joe Cyrus.
Billie Jean King.
It's something like that. It's something redneck in a respectful way. Give it to me, Will.
I don't have it yet.
What do you mean you don't have it? Look
up comedies. Let's go to comedies.
Look up Watchmen, for fuck's sake.
I am. I'm trying.
Well, this
I can't see.
Oh,
I got it. Haley's the last name. That's a hint.
All right, hold on. Jackie Earl Haley.
There you go.
Whoa. You got it.
You got it.
Good job.
I'm like Haley Joel Osment, but I know that's the Sixth Sense kid.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
So you're not like a gore fest horror guy. You're more.
I do like gore stuff. I mean, like I like
Friday the 13th.
Like I love Friday the 13th. I love.
I guess that's true.
I love Halloween.
I was thinking about like Saw, Hostel, like
Hostel.
I've seen
No,
Saw.
I've seen Hostel, but I don't like that shit.
Well, that's what
Just torture, straight up torture.
I've seen like People Under the Stairs.
Oh,
Hills
shit.
Have
People
Eyes.
Under the Stairs.
Hills
man.
Have
Yeah.
Eyes is a rough one too, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the remake
That's
of Hills Have
disturbing.
Eyes
Yeah, that's
is
disturbing.
tough.
Yeah.
The original Hills Have
But the
Have
People Under
Eyes.
the Stairs.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
When it comes to comedies, though, like I'm really not like a big like comedy movie person. I'm more of like a comedy like TV
Oh yeah.
person.
So I mean,
sense?
like you. So there's no comedy films that you can think of that you're like, God, I fucking love that movie. Like,
I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of the funny movies that I like are Christmas movies.
Okay,
all right.
so what is your favorite holiday movie?
Like Elf is really funny.
Of
to
course.
me.
100%.
I mean, I also
Holiday
love
movie, but
I-
comedy.
I mean, National Lampoon's Christmas
Oh,
Vacation.
of course, right.
A little full, a lot of sap.
A lot of sap.
Yeah, shitter's full. I'm trying to think. I'm really blanking on comedies right now.
That's all right. I was just curious.
Hangover.
Like,
Bridesmaids is pretty funny.
Oh, Bridesmaids is fantastic.
Yeah,
that
that
is
was
a really good movie. Yeah.
yeah, that was surprisingly good. Like that was one of those ones I didn't see in the theater, but when I
Yeah.
saw it, I was like, God damn, that was
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was like
good movie.
that movie was like that. Yeah, I remember seeing that in theaters and being like, "Is she really shitting her pants?"
right,
in a
right.
wedding dress in
I
the middle
love that.
of oncoming traffic.
Right, and that was that was
Melissa McCarthy was
Melissa
shitting in the
McCarthy
sink.
And who's our girl? Who's our girl from Saturday Night Live? Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
I
Kristen
love
Wiig.
her.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I do
mean,
too.
she's a good actress. They're both like it was. a
Yeah,
good movie.
I love Kristen Wiig. She's good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a really good actress.
Yeah.
All right, so what about TV show comedies? You got like any honorable
Oh yeah,
mentions?
like I love. I know that it hasn't aged well in that she's crazy now, but I love Roseanne. Like
Oh yeah, Roseanne.
Oh, yeah, the original Roseanne.
Like the original Roseanne.
Cancel
Actually,
me now. I grew up on Roseanne. I was DJ. Like I was like
that's funny. Yeah,
that's the kind of household I grew up in. Like my parents were both like, like struggling
working class.
blue collar workers, and they had a bunch of kids. They were like always trying to figure out how to put food on the table and like how to pay their bills. And,
Right.
And they were very hard working and we struggled, but we always found an opportunity to laugh and like
Sure.
make fun of ourselves or each other or like, and I feel like at that time Roseanne was like that really spoke to a lot of people.
Right.
It is sad to see like what the creator of that show has become, but
Right.
I'm sure she's still fun at parties.
Yeah, man. This
Didn't she
internet.
just come out with a rap album or something?
Yes, she did, Woe Davis. She came out with
she
a
is-
rap track.
A diss track.
Yes, with Tom McDonald. He's the hero of some.
Daddy's
People.
Home, is that what it's called?
I'm not
called
sure.
Daddy's
I just
Home.
saw it on like a comedy reel or something. I was like, oh,
I thought it was
look
a
at
Saturday
that.
Night Live skit.
No, it's
but
real.
I don't think she's
Oh, yeah.
But he has
that
now.
either.
Look, we try to unite everybody here at Saturday Night Show,
Yeah, yeah.
but Tom McDonald has a unique brand and a unique audience,
Yeah.
and she fits right in.
Yeah,
Right.
that's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that being said, it's whatever to each his own. But it's a wild turn. I didn't see that one.
It is a
coming.
wild
yeah, like, I
turn.
didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
and, But the
Yeah.
internet, baby, it makes everybody fucking crazy.
Yeah,
It really does.
100%.
Are you good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Glorian, listen, this was a fucking pleasure.
Oh, wow.
Let's talk about where anybody can find you.
Oh.
Like,
Oh yeah.
give your
Plug
shout
your
outs.
stuff.
Plug yourself.
I am on Instagram at __Glorian. I also just launched a website. What is it? Oh, it's on the back of my CD here.
Oh shit. Yeah. I appreciate that.
GlorianMusic.com.
Nice.
And I have a record coming out March 8th.
Yep.
Called Dance Songs for Strangers. You can find that's going to be on all the streaming platforms. And if you want to buy a record, which is the best way to support me, I have a shop on Bandcamp.
Yep.
It's glorianmusic.bandcamp.com. I've got pre-orders for my record, digital or hard copy. I have shirts that are pretty cool. It's a 3-headed Glorian shirt.
Yeah, I need a shirt.
And I'm playing March 8th. I've got some other shows coming up, but they haven't been announced yet, so I don't want to.
Yeah,
Is there a story
as soon
behind
as you-
3-headed Glorian?
No.
I mean, I dig it. I just didn't
I
know
like
if there was
the
like
album cover, that I showed you with the 4 arms.
Right.
That's a cool cover.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, Catatonic, the
Catatonic,
Catatonic single.
Love it.
It was kind of like that, where it was like 3 different pictures, all kind of stacked on top of each other,
Right.
and then it just got turned into a shirt.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's like,
So whenever you have gigs, just get them to me and I'll put them on our calendar. It's
Yeah.
what'shappeningbaltimore.com. And we have a directory. If you go to our website, if you go to sanitylounge.com, at the top you'll see Your Baltimore.
oh,
And you
cool.
could just register there and just put all your shit on there, and it just builds like we're building a whole directory. Like
Oh, that's
Alcohol's
awesome.
Yeah,
is
we're
on
trying
there,
to get
Madison.
people, artists as
And we have a online community that's also at the top where it's like it's like a social platform, but it's for artists and all the Baltimore locals to
That's
like
cool.
collaborate. Like you might meet somebody on there that's doing this music, and you guys just don't know each other. You get together.
Yeah, like we're
It's
trying to
just,
get people, artists,
something outside of Facebook where there's no algorithm. It's
Yeah.
just people
Yeah.
talking.
artists, as you know, it's hard to get people to engage, and it's like, so the more we can get people to just go there, upload their stuff, then the network will grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just good stuff all
Yeah.
around.
And all to get you guys out there.
Yeah, and we're gonna have you back with
Joseph
5
and the
other
Beast,
bands
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like because we want to get Landis in
Yeah.
here. We want to
Yeah.
get Joseph in the
Landis that'll be a fun
yeah,
show.
man.
show.
Because we were in the '90s, late '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a
So
band. The next band coming in is Speakers of the House, which is
Oh.
Matt Everhart, Johnny Tamakis, Brian Sims, and Warren Bowes
Okay.
from Almighty Senators.
Oh,
He's the
nice.
guitar, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
They're
yeah.
They're like a
fucking
super
funky-
group.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
they're
very
excited
fantastic.
about
They do
it, yeah.
covers and originals. But we just saw them there at Racers. Racers has been having a lot of music lately,
nice.
and it's been fantastic.
nice.
But we're trying to do good things for the city. You're doing good things for the
I
city.
appreciate everything y'all are
and,
doing. That's so
Yeah, man,
cool.
I'm glad you came. Thanks
That's
for
so
And
coming.
wait till
It was
you
great
see it.
having
It's
you
going to
here.
be great.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
That's
the
awesome.
end product
Yep.
is wonderful, and it's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell your friends.
Yeah.
Share the posts. I'll invite you to be a collaborator. Just click accept.
Yep. For
Okay.
God's sakes,
And we'll
click
party.
accept. Because he'll be like, nobody's clicking accept.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
let's
so-
grow together, man.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for all that you're doing for the local music and art scene. We need more people like you. So
we
awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
and
so
look,
thank
just
you.
help us. We'll help you, and let's grow together. It's good stuff.
Awesome.
All right,
Fantastic.
stay sane, Baltimore.
Yep. Awesome.
Give me power, not a give and take. Sign a love and grab a number. Give me power, not a ball and chain. Leave it to me, I know the rest. Leave it to me, eyes on the ground. Keep your eyes on the ground. We have always been here. We will always be here. We have always been here. We will always be here. Break those bitter bindings. Play your hand with love. To the rise above. Lose your marbles. Give me power, not a give and take. Collect the debt of fabrication. Give me power, make him say my name. Leave it to me, you pass the test. Leave it to me, keep your eyes on the ground. The ground. Keep your eyes on the ground. The ground. Oh. Keep your eyes on the ground. Whoa, 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 whoa. Keep your eyes on the ground. Ow. blame on me. Stories are like seeds. How can I be your garbage and be his gold? How can I be your garbage and be his gold? How can I be your garbage? How can I be your garbage? How can I be your garbage? Oh, oh, oh. You were wild to let all senses lark, a lighthouse in the black. We wanted to stay lost. I won't beg to kiss the golden thread that weaves through everything, including our heads. Will you take a ride on the locomotive? I've got the time if you've got the motive. We could cross the line if you're feeling brave. Doesn't matter if we go or stay, we'll still be catatonic. All things, whether caged or free, bear inconvenience, tangled and twisted. So I stood when nothing stood before, and it was such a bore to find I wanted nothing else. Will you take a ride on the locomotive? I've got the time if you've got the motive. We could cross the line if you're feeling brave. Doesn't matter if we go or stay, we're catatonic. You can be free. 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 Will you take a ride on the locomotive? Will you take a ride on the locomotive? Will you take a ride on the locomotive? Will you take a ride on the locomotive?
Thanks for listening, Baltimore. You can find us at www.sanitylounge.com or on Instagram at sanity.lounge.
Keep listening and subscribe.
Stay sane, Baltimore.